Now reset password. Just press that.
Yep.
The password must be at least 6, right, to form and contain at least one each of the following lowercase, uppercase, that means what here, a capital letter in.
It's the same one. Passwords must contain 6 characters, one of each lowercase. Oh yeah, so it's got to have one capital, at least one capital, and one number.
Hiya, I hope everyone can hear me and see me. As I said, I've just got a couple of minutes there for some people to join. Hi everyone, just giving a few minutes people there to join. I hope you can all hear me and see me okay. So as I said, I've got quite a few on today, so what I'll probably do is mute your mics just now, and then if I quickly just run through what we're going to go over, I'll then just unmute and we can go over any questions and answers you specifically have after. Okay, so everyone can see me okay? So if I start quickly by just checking that hopefully you can all see my screen just now regarding the filters. Everyone see us okay? Yep. Thumbs up. Okay. So basically the main, some of you maybe been on these sort of things before, but obviously the main update is it's just a little short training sessions that I've been doing for clubs on certain aspects of Club V1 and certain parts of Club V1. Now, if you feel you've got any other parts of Club V1 you would like me to go over specifically, just drop me a little email and I'll arrange a follow-up training session on that, on those certain aspects. So basically, if you think anything I've not done in the past, just let us know. Also to let you know, obviously, I do make a little recording of these, and I have recordings of past ones as well. So if you'd like some of the past ones, or you've missed any, or you don't receive this one after the event, just let me know and I'll get it sent to you. So let's just start on a little crack on this. So obviously the main thing today is just quickly go over using filters in Club V1. Now, filters have obviously been a part of Club V1 for a number of years now, but as I said, clubs have not really probably used them fully how they should. And I'm just going to quickly go over a little bit of the membership part first, and basically just going to cover how you can use these to basically analyze your membership, also generate some reports, and also what maybe some clubs don't realize is that they can use custom markers in the filters within their own system. So if I go deep, let's go straight to the system, to my Club V1 system. So basically in my Club V1 system, this is basically my your directory that you'll see. If I click that directory, and let's just filter first and just clear all these. And let's just start with I don't have any filter at all. Basically, simple thing is, when I go to my directory of people, I have this option called filter. And basically, simply click on filter. I then have a selection of saved filters. Now, you see I've got a lot of ones here that I've used in the past for clubs. I tend to say I really have to tidy up my own here a little bit and take these out. Best bet I would suggest is don't have too many saved filters. Best bet is to learn how to use the filters correctly. But let's just start with all members first, or if I take it out, no filter at all, start with thing. So therefore, to create a filter, if I want to filter anything out, all I simply do is click on add field. And this picks up all the fields that are in Club V1, basically, that I wish to look to members. So let's look at a nice and simple one, age. I want to look at age, put my age in, simply put age. Say I want to look at one to, let's say, 55 or above. Can apply that. You'll see it'll just basically filter. So it'll just basically filter out on the date of birth that's there. You can put through. If I want to click a little bit, clear that out and just go back to the start, apply, go back to everything again, select a field. Want to look at specific category, I can do that. I can put category in, add, shows me all my categories, click on that and I can click the category that I wish to filter. So if I just want to look at my Flexi members, I can untick them all, back on, just I want to look at Flexi members, put this category down, apply that. So as I said, you see the filters there. Click back again, take it back to no filters at all, add field. The one thing these can do as well with these is just to show you is, excuse me, you can also have add a filter in, see, so let's look at an age. So I want 50 or above, like that. But you can add additional field filters as well. So you can have multiple filters. So if you're looking for specific people under specific handicap groups, say, you can add additional filters. You can keep going along as you like, but it does allow you to drag down and analyze all your data there and members there. And I'll show you a little bit. You can do these, use these reports in a minute, but just to see, you can also on screen do that. So as I said, that's how you analyze on screen. Same scenario. If I take it back, let's get rid of all these filters. Okay, apply. I want to create a report. So I can create a report and create a report. Now, if I create a report on my member, you've got your standard reports here. But if I create a custom report that I want, and let's just add a list and say I want men over 55, handicap under 18. Okay. Again, I don't know why, but I tend to repeat this through just to continue through the report. Okay. Basically, what I've got their name, however, and as you know, anybody who does reports know that you can add in here what details you want. You can add in the email address in this instance. Continue. I can sort it by, let's sort it by forename, surname. Stand through. But this is the bit where we're back to our filters here. So just now I've got everybody here. But again, same as I did in my visual search, I can basically add field and say, right, show me basically people in age. Same filter, let's say I want 55 or above. Apply, add field, handicap, index. I can add the same thing. So same way I filtered before on the screen on screen, I can apply to the same report. So you can see it's very easy then. If I go continue and finish that, I've now got a report there I want, and if I want to print it or download it, basically it gives me a screen print. So it's a good way if you want to create custom reports on anything you've got. Could be on account balance, could be NEPOS balances, it could be just names or phone numbers, but you can then use those filters to analyze those reports down. But probably the big thing though that clubs don't really know they can use, and I'll close that down so we just have one Club V1 open, is in Club V1, there is a thing in your settings here. I've got settings, and I've got club details called, in here you've got where it says field and markers. Now what this does is this allows you to create a custom marker that you as your individual club want to use. So some clubs will have standard ones in here like locker number, second lockers, buggy. Basically, this gives me the facility on someone's record to put an additional information on their record they've got a buggy. But you'll see I've also got some other customized one here called elves. If I edit that, I can edit that and create that whatever I want to call it. Now, I'll show you this kicks in a little bit in a minute. But basically what this is I had a club who have a senior section called the elves, basically, and they just want to see who is part of that elves senior section. So they can, I'll show you how you tick who it is. When you've got markers in there, you can clear them at the end of each year. So if I go look at my past captains, if I want, or I could actually clear it and put it in new. Somebody want to use it. That's for a marker, for example, do not bill. So these markers you can create are your own markers that you wish to use to filter with. So if I go back to my directory, and let's look at my record. If I call it my record, you'll see that's my record. And if I edit my record, you've always had this additional information. And this information, these are where these markers that I created come in. So there's my elves marker there. Okay. So I'm saying, yeah, he's part of the elves. I've got a little tick just to let me emphasize so I can put on that. While I'm in here, just show you this little section where I've got a little marker called do not bill, where that's handy for some clubs. Say, for example, you have, and it's not so much for filtering, but you have someone joins basically near the end of the season. So you maybe bill them. So say they see your bill going to go out in January, but they join maybe November, December. I might put a marker say do not bill, and all that simply means that I can then filter when it comes to billing that they don't get included in the annual bill because you don't want them having two bills. Okay, but I'll tick I've got a sell, and you'll see here, well, I've used these markers as well, where I've got locker numbers and second lockers. I know for us all, lockers is a bit of a nightmare, but if you do actually put a lot of work in these using these custom markers, it's quite easy to use the filtering to do that. And I'll save that. Okay, just finish that. So now I've got those markers. If I go back to my filtering, I can see there's no filter, but I've got a field here. And what this shows me is all my custom markers as well. So there's my elves marker I created. Say, right, show me who's in the elves. Okay, nice and easy. Shows you who's the elves group because I've ticked joins in that elves group. If I take the marker away, add a field. I mentioned lockers there slightly. Got locker number. Show me who's got locker between 1 and 500. See, basically there's my 4 people that've got locker numbers. So it's where you can use these filters for custom filters to help you through. Now, taking that slightly on, this is basically how you use the filters to report on your membership and analyze it. But taking that a little bit further, where filters really come into their own a little bit is to use them on billing. And this is where one thing you want to do is ensure that your billing and charge are set for, like, especially for your annual bills. How you can use global charges to do that, how you can create ad hoc bills for certain people, and also how you can do a batch EPOS transaction for certain people. So again, come back to my Club V1 section. Let's look at billing. So I look at my billing, bill charge. You'll see this is all my standard charges in here. Now, because I showed you I had basically everyone's locker number in, if I made sure that I pull a report off and again use my filter to show everybody it's got a locker number, and then I'm sure that I have all the numbers correct, it does allow me then, before I do my bill run, do a little thing called global charges. And what I might want to do in this instance is say basically that everybody who has got a locker, yep, I might want to turn it off for everybody to start with. And it may sound drastic, that would turn it off for, let's take filter rate for everybody. That would turn off, nobody would be charged for locker just now. What I would then use, where I'm using my filtering again, is in global charges. I say this time I want to turn the locker on to my category default, continue, And I want to just put that on for, if I apply, add a field for those people that have a locker. Locker. Number there, this locker number. Yep. So I only want to turn on now for those that have lockers. What that would then do is just raise that bill, sorry, not raise the bill, tick that person that they have to get billed this year for a locker because they've got a locker. Again, lockers, I can go over quite complex to do it, but it's just how you do it. And say, for example, I've also got an additional fee for that else group. I could global charges, I could pick else if I had it as a fee and put it on. So that's where you can do specific groups for that through. What this also allows you to do as well in the finance bills, we did mention that we basically did the annual bills, just making sure everybody's billed for lockers, etc. But say I want to raise a bill for just a specific group of people. So I might want to do a batch of ad hoc bills. Now, it could be for an outing, it could be for anything. So it could be like I've got an outing and I put a marker on it for those that want to go in an outing. But let me just do it for the elves just now. I can add the field, and again, using the filtering, look at my elves. There's elves there, so add, and say I want to raise a bill for the elves. Continue, and I can actually say what I want to call it, say elves fees. So if your seniors, for example, get a separate bill for the membership, I can then add a price and say whatever this is going to be. It could be a complimentary golf outing. So the elves are going to do an outing. I'm going to put one. £10, it's going to cost £10. Can add that. If I continue, that will raise that bill for that person. So you'll see it's just me because I'm the only person that's ticked as an elf. But if you had, for example, a group of 30 seniors that are going on a trip somewhere and you want to send them all a bill for 20 quid, then you can do it. One of the clubs did it, did a commemorative bottle of whiskey, basically, that they asked the members who wished to get one. Once they updated the members with that, they just sent them all a bill. So it's where you can use that in that part as well. Staying with finance. Sorry, back to that. Copy it. The other bit you can also use this for is batch EPOS transactions. Now, those of you that have a new cloud-based till system will see we have a batch EPOS transaction in here. Those of you that are on the old till system, you can do it. It's just a bit more complex to find it, but it's in a 6 now. But basically, what this does allow me to be billing is I can do a batch top up and say it's winnings or whatever I like to call it. But it's an extra £5. Continue. And again, if I want to just give that to an elf or I want to give that to anybody, I can apply a filter to that. Okay, so as I said, one filter though is handy to use that maybe just in here that you can use as well with these batch things as well is there is a filter field that when you select add field, you'll see one called individuals. Okay, what individuals allows you to do is create a custom filter and basically just for individual people. So you just type in their name, select and apply. Basically, it then just applies those. So if you have a group of individual people you want to use that for, that's where you can use that for. So it's just a handy thing with the billing. And again, if you want any more help on that, just certainly let me know how you can do that with EPOS transactions. Probably the third part we have on here about using thing is where you can use filters heavily as well is in your competitions, basically. And there is a number of ways where they become very useful in competitions using these filters. And basically, all simply, if you go to your fixtures, okay, of your competitions. Main thing you have, as you know, when you add a fixture, get fixture and add a competition, you have basically these normal standard templates to pick out. And if I select a single men Stapleford, okay, I just put test, whatever, today's date, all the usual stuff here, continue. I'll put it in a handicap just for mine, continue. All the basic stuff through to get to the filter part of it. I've selected that as a gents competition, so only gent can enter it. And if I select ladies, only ladies. It may sound quite basic that, but in the old system we did have men used to enter ladies competition, ladies used to enter gents because of a bit of chaos in the past. But where this slight filter can be used a little bit as well is, say this is a seniors competition. I've got a seniors filter saved called 60 plus. And what that basically is, as I've said, that's all the people that are over six. Basically, I'll put the wrong one here, sorry. I'll go back and I'll just create a filter. People directory. Filter. Let me just put my filter by age again, sorry. Add field, age. Let's put it's 55 or above. Apply. I'll save that as gents seniors. Okay. And I'll put it 55 plus. Okay. So I've saved that filter. Okay. Okay. So I'll go back to my competition. Sorry again. Fixtures. Add competition. Single men Stafford. I'll just quickly go by this stuff. Test. Okay. Okay. All the basic part to go through it. Continue. Course. Continue. This was so on the filter here. I said so. As I was saying there is I've selected that as a gents competition, so it's restricted to only gents can sign in for it, book in for it, or put their scores in. But if I want to apply a further filter, I could then my gent senior 55 plus filter. What that will do then is that will mean that nobody can enter this competition if they're not in that age group. So you don't have anybody under 55 entering. It restricts they can't put the score in under 55. So it stops you having the little awkward situation where someone has entered a competition, put their score in, won the competition, but doesn't qualify for that competition because it's a seniors comp. So it's a handy way to use the filters to basically control the permission and access to your competitions. Obviously, all the rest of the competition setup is as usual. It's just stuff setting through. So that's basically having our competition set up to link to. But just to say that's where you can use that through. So that's where you can control access to your competitions and don't have basically any errors of people getting in that shouldn't be in competition. Now, where you can also use this with your competitions is that if let's do a nice simple thing. If I go to fixtures, let's add a competition. And let's say we do, for example, where's the mixed gents? Let's do a mixed Stafford this time, yeah. Let's do a mixed test. Okay. Again, continue. Course card. Okay, this is where I set the ladies and gents cards. Just through, continue. I'll leave the filter as it is. I'm just going to leave it as a mixed competition just now, so everybody can enter it. Okay. Just continue. So, back to the date. What's the date? I've got competition set up. Sorry. Just a second time. Continue. Leave it. So as I said, leave the filters as they are. And I'll just do I'm not so much to do through just at the end of this competition. Okay. Now that does say, okay, I've not got booking. As you know, the booking just shows you all the stuff through. But what I just wanted to show you in this part of it regarding the filters is on any competition, where you can use your filters a little bit as well is that you can do competition prints. And when you do your competition prints at the end of the day, you've got all these facilities where you can put them in, okay? And you'll see basically you've got all your normal competition, but it's down this bottom bit where you've got, this is a mixed competition. So if I can say I want to do it by who's the best men on the day, who's the best ladies in the day, who's through, I can pull those off. But where I might want to do this from this competition, I might want to do, for example, some clubs do this is who was the best over 55. So what I might do is do a printout and apply that filter of gents senior 55 plus. That will then show me who was the best over 55. So I know I've got some clubs that will do best winner 50 to 60, 60 to 70, 70 or above. It just allows you to do a little bit of the filtering on there. Some clubs also, you probably saw when you looked at the custom filter, I had a marker called past captains. Some clubs will tick their past captains. Then it's quite nice on your past captains day where you might actually see who's the overall winner of the competition, but you might want to analyze that and see who's the best past captain. So from the same competition, you can analyze the data and pull off different results to show you what's in there. So it's just to say that's where you can use the filters in your competition as well. Probably moving on slightly to the main aspect of using filters is how you're communicating with your members. And this is where filters come into really handy to use, where you can then use the filters to basically send out to specific groups stuff you want to send out. I've got an example here as well, as you could be chasing outstanding balances. I'm sure that would come in. And it does mean you can also use a mail merge to send out personalized communications to the right people. And also it does kick in when you're doing your club news and newsletters as well. So again, go back to club V1. Back to club V1. Let's look at communications. Let's look at mailing first. Okay. Doing a mailing. I'm going to add a mailing, as we all have there, mailing test, whatever I'm going to send out. Okay. Reply address, just so you know, it picks up the reply address. This is much to do with filters, but just to let you know, that reply address picks up the customer's company's email address, but you can change that to what you want. So if you're sending this out on somebody's behalf, so as I mentioned earlier, those elves that are going on a trip out to Royal Burgess, they might want to be replied back to the lead elf who's leading that group, put his email address in. So rather than them come back to you and saying there's a space on the bus. I can also, with mailing here as well, just put dear, just so you know, I can pick from the data and pick up their name and do a merge and put in their full name, just so it goes in as their name. Send it through. And send it through. Now, what I can also pick up here as merge, just while we're on this merge part, is if I was, as I mentioned a minute ago, sending maybe an email out to chase people up with outstanding balances on their subs, I can click here and I can actually pick their balance from here. It's called membership balance or something it's called. It's account balance. Basically, that would go out, dear John, your balance is, and I can actually just put the information in, your overdue balance, is please can you pay, and then just add in whatever you through it. Okay. Now I'm getting all this extra URLs and stuff through, get through, continue. You know, I can attach stuff on that, but it's mainly just in filters today. And I'm back to this where I can use my filters again. So again, I can start with no filters at all, or I could pick from my save filter and say I want to just send this to seniors 55 plus. So for example, I'm sending out an item here that I want somebody to come and play for the club competition at an event, but I don't want to send it out to somebody. I don't want somebody, which I have had at clubs where someone turns up to play on the day, has taken his day off work, and then discovers that it's a seniors competition. They have to be 55 or plus. So this is where you want to target your specific emails, go out to specific people. And I can also do, if I go back to just all members again, sorry, apply it. To think back what I said, basically, I'm chasing up somebody, I'm chasing up my unpaid balances, unpaid subs. I would then add a filter again, and this time the filter I'd put in basically is send out the filter to those that have a balance between £1,000 to £3,000. Apply whatever. Okay. That meant that email will just go to those people who basically have got a balance of that amount. Now, then if Mr. Aberdeen paid his fees, if I ran this 2 weeks later, he will not get that reminder email. It just goes to those people that have got balances. So it's where I can use these filters to automate putting stuff through. And as I said, I can put the details in, the amounts detail by using the merge. So I can use it a little bit further as well. Yeah. And the sort of final part of communications, I've obviously got club news. Again, club news, I can add club news. What I want to say on the club news, any diary I've got here. I can add link. Okay. Continue. Okay. Can add. Okay. Continue. Continue. Okay. Save. Okay. So but it's more. Can I add club news? Clean out club news is in club news. I can then go into making newsletters. And when I'm creating newsletters, when I add a newsletter, okay. So I can say it's September 2025. Okay. One little thing in this, just to mention, it's not too much to do with filters, but just while we're talking communications here, I did see, we do have templated emails to go out, but if you do wish to use MailChimp, you just click on custom email. And what you'll find is from your MailChimp program, when you've created your newsletter in MailChimp, there is a facility to download the HTML format, and all you do is just paste it in, and that would go out with your MailChimp layout. So if you'd rather use their layout, you can do it through that way. Just paste it in. But if I stick with our templated one through, okay, I can send that through. And it's just to see on that, the other part where that was coming through is when you're doing a newsletter, you can add those articles you put in before. Okay, so any articles you put out through this year, you can just click and add them in. And then when you go to send, basically, you can send it out. Okay, continue. Okay, and again, you can use your filtering again. And this is where, for example, I'm not saying, but say the ladies had a new ladies newsletter, or you had a Greens convener news update newsletter going out. I might want to only send, so if this was a thing about the course, maybe it's course status, I might start with all members, but I might add a field and I might just send this out to people with a handicap index rather than sending it out to everybody, because those social members, those people who don't have handicaps, might not want to be bothered about getting an update on the course status or something getting done on the course. So therefore, you're not pestering or annoying your members by getting all emails and newsletters that they don't really have no interest to them at all. Or as I said, if it's a specific social member about going to an event, you might want to specifically filter how that goes out as well. So that's where you can use the filters on the communication side as well. So as I said, main aspect of these is just a quick overview of how to use some of the filters you're looking through. As I say, all clubs, if you want some more information or want me to go over some aspects of this in more detail, especially like the custom markers, I know some clubs use them for like membership years, billing months, whatever. Just get me an email, drop me an email back. I can organise a Teams call or a catch up on it and we can discuss over it. So I'm just going to keep my screen up, but sorry, 2 seconds. So does anyone have any specific questions or aspects you'd like to maybe ask me about on this, or are we okay with most everything that's there? Nope. 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 So. No, as I said, you will all get a recording of this just shortly after we sort of finish this up. And as I said, again, if you have any specific aspects you do want me to go over again, just certainly drop me a little email back. Give the office a phone, they can help you as well, or just contact. I'd say probably just contact me directly. And as I said, I will go over as much as I can with it. As I mentioned, if you do have any suggestions on any part of Club V1 that you'd like me to go over, certainly drop me an email. I'm probably going to do another couple of these. I'll be sending out some invites in a couple of these next few weeks, so just watch out for the invites coming and hopefully catch up for you all soon. Thank you.